that. There's still the Nunu possibilities because the Nunu Caitlyn lane used to be very strong, and we'll see how that ends up going out for him.
Well, looking like Lux is being highlighted right now. And
Janna.
there is, of course, Janna. Janna, we saw Patoy playing last week. I wonder if he's going to go the full AP like Patoy did.
Yeah, how
Teleport.
much protect the double lift are we actually going to see so far? Because there's already the wither potential coming out from Hotshot if he's going on Nasus. Lux, whether that's a 1v2 or a solo lane Lux, I'm not sure, because Caitlyn Janna is something that could be known to go mid lane. And this is a very interesting composition that we have coming out from CLG so far. Of course, we have Draven from Wild Turtle. He played that 2 times last week during his MVP performance. Wild Turtle averaged 8 kills a game last week.
Yeah, and he's against Double Lift, who says, Draven's trash.
Draven's trash. And he killed us.
And he killed him many times. Xerath being selected here. Going to switch it up to Diana, though, so it's going to be Reggie on Diana. Will that be in mid, though?
I think that's going to be mid lane for Reginald, and that's going to be really tough. This would open up CLG to be able to 1v2 against him, because even in that preview video, we saw CLG was saying Reginald is like the only player on TSM that scares us right now. So it wouldn't surprise me that much if they went straight at him. And with that Nunu pick, that would tell me that it's probably a Nunu jungle. Hotshot's going to play Nasus. Link is going to play Lux. And they'll have the support Janna for Aftermoon. That's like taking Protect the Double Lift to the next extreme.
Taking the Protect the Double Lift, but will they go Korean style? Will they switch things up? Obviously, we've seen a lot of the lane jumping. We've seen a lot of the pushing on the top and bottoms of the turrets. Are they going to switch things up again?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to predict something, I'd say that CLG is going to be going mid lane to try to shut down Darius. They might not want to lane straight up against Draven and not opt into those lane swap situations. Hotshot with Teleport is just going to be trying to survive. The big issue will be whether Link goes mid or in a side lane, because that's going to be the struggling one. And you look at TSM, and that is another very dive-heavy composition. I mean, during the whole swap rounds, TSM was talking about, with Wild Turtle, they can synergize better with their aggressive play styles, and this is one of those things. There's no real protection for Wild Turtle here.
And I'd be interested to see whether Team Solomid have something prepared here, whether they've, with their new player, they've had a week with him this time instead of, I think, before they had the LCS last week, they'd played 2 games with him. So they've had a whole week to prepare now with that new man on your screen there, Wild Turtle. How are they going to work out? And, you know, everybody's seen the Game Cribs video now. Yeah. Everybody knows what happened in that team. All of them actually chose Wild Turtle in their choices. Whether it was a pressured situation or not, they all clearly saw a problem there. And I wonder how much, you know, obviously you were in a team before. You were in a team with ImyCutiePie. There must have been problems there, I'm sure, without harping on ImyCutiePie. But, you know, how much is it a problem, especially when you're in game, if there's 2 shot callers calling different things out, conflicting information?
It honestly depends on the team, for the most part. Some teams actually deal with chaos very well. CLG is someone who's had to deal with chaos pretty much this entire time. But Team Solomid, with someone as strong as Reginald, he really has to be able to overpower the rest of the team as far as in-game calls. If you want to argue later, go for it. But just don't do it during the game. And with all the pressure being on Wild Turtle right now, he's not going to be someone to be challenging Reginald this early on. And I just can't.
Absolutely not.
I can't believe how much pressure Wild Turtle is under at this exact moment. I mean, the second time they're playing CLG. Last week he was playing with house money because he was just the sub. Now that he's the permanent member, now that Chaos has been flown back to New York, this is it. If he doesn't perform now, people are going to be calling him out immediately.
Oh, absolutely, because you're damn right, Chaos. For all the Chaos fans out there, they're all going to be watching this on as... It's the exact same as if your favorite player in a team would just been traded away in the season, and you're suddenly going, why have we got this guy? What happened? And there's actually quite a few people, you know, even speaking to the pros, they've all said, you know, Chaos is better than Wild Turtle. He's got the experience, he's got the knowledge, but Wild Turtle is a fresh breeze maybe that Team Solo made. And remember, last time they changed a player, TSM won on an absolute tear.
And they're already 3-0 with Wild Turtle in the LCS. Looking at these early wards, though, there's wards on each other's blue buffs, essentially, and they've really mirrored each other almost exactly. The only extra thing, though, is CLG has an extra ward down on the map. It does look like, just by the positioning of CLG, though, it is going to be that 2v1 mid against Reginald, and I really want to see how Link deals with the 1v2, or just 1v1 Lux top lane, because Lux in a long lane is very, very dangerous.
It does look like it was just the Explorer Ward. Yes, it was. The only Explorer Ward placed in the banana bush on the bottom river area. As it is, they do have that ward, of course, on the blue buff. They're going to keep full vision of what happens there. And it does look like we're going to have some lane switches. As you called it, Do you see looking like Reginald is going to be the mid lane? He's going to be up against. So where are they going? Where's Doublelift and Aframu going? They are going towards the mid by the looks of it, but they've got 4 members at that jungle at the moment.
Yeah, they're really helping Chouster get this early start in the jungle. It's a smiteless pull for Nunu, so his counter jungling potential is really high right now. And when you put 2 people in the mid lane, you make your buff control on the rest of the map so much greater. So I'm not sure if Chouster's going to be trying to do any early game invades. It looks now like he's just trying to get his early buffs under control, but the potential will be there.
Oh, we see X Special getting straight in on towards Hotshot GG. Here comes Wild Turtle with those spinning blades, trying to get the axe on towards him, but it was X Special that kept the pressure on him, and they're trying to zone him out as much as possible. Blue buff, meanwhile, is going to go to Chouster. There it is, consumes and smites it down. Odd One also getting spotted out, picking up his blue buff himself.
Yeah, so no mysteries for the junglers here. They know well and good that all the buffs have been taken, and they both saw each other taking the blue buffs. So now the question becomes, where does Chouster go? It looks like Aframu's already trying to invade a little bit. They're keeping Reginald pushed back, but maybe they're just going for the mid shove because Chouster doesn't seem to be screwing around here. He's pushing mid.
Yeah, there's 3 members of CLG in that mid lane at the moment, and they're keeping the pressure right down on this middle. This is something we see the Koreans do. It's also something we saw Dignitas doing last week.
Yeah, this is becoming such a global strategy. I almost don't want to call it the Korean strat anymore, but look at this pressure. Dyrus already coming down, so we wondered how Link was going to handle that 1v1 top lane. It seems to be fine because he's not laning against anyone right now. They've actually swapped Dyrus in the mid lane because TSM doesn't want Reginald getting shut down.
Yeah, and you can see they do immediately keep them back. So, what do we see of this? We haven't seen Janna for a long time. We saw it last week appear. We saw, I think, Elements ran it at MLG. Patoy ran it last week here at the LCS as well. And now, everybody's picking back Janna up. What has changed in Janna that people are suddenly seeing, actually, as I say that, the other one goes aggressive, but he's forced back? Yeah,
well, one of the big things about Janna, as we're getting a surprise ARAM in the mid lane with 7 members there right now, is her 2v2 laning isn't that good early on, but if you're only going to be doing lane swaps, like her team fighting is still incredible, and the utility she brings to the rest of the team is awesome. So if you're just going to be doing 1v2 lanes in mid lane, Janna totally works.
Well, we do see good reactions from Team Solo mid here. Now, Dyrus going down towards that bottom, and everybody has equaled themselves out. Reginald now in that top against Link, and of course the AD carry of Wild Turtle and X Special have measured up in the mid lane against Doublelift and Aframu. So we do see switching once again coming out, though. CLG keeping things really fluid here, but will he catch them out? Will they lose out trying to track around too much?
Yeah, this is just the big chess match, and you can already see that Chouster is pretty far behind. He spent so much time in that mid lane where the Odd One was just farming the jungle, and they didn't actually kill the mid turret. But now, because CLG has rotated to the bottom lane, it's the other way around, and Hotshots actually had to come mid to push out this lane.
And they're going to put the Spirit Fire down. They're going to keep the pressure down, but Wild Turtle keeping their axes spinning, keeping the damage down. So mid-turrets, I think they're both down to about half health, and now Dyrus is back in that 2v1 situation. Not the birthday wish he wanted, but he's going to keep his pressure down. And this mid lane, they're going to have to do something about this.
Yeah, the good thing about having Nasus defend this is he can stop Wild Turtle from sieging down the turret. He's not stopping the Odd One or X Special, though, and that's a lot of harass that they've already taken. But CLG do have issues, and just like TSM did earlier, they're roaming their top solo down mid just to help hold it. This is a very, very strange opening for this game, T-Man.
Very, very strange. Dyrus taking incredibly low down this bottom lane as well. He needs help from the Odd One, but the Odd One is busy. He's being kept in that mid lane, and they're keeping the pressure on that turret. They're going to see if they can take this one. Wild Turtle keeping theirs active, spinning on towards Hotshot GG as well. Reginald getting a free farm now in this top lane.
And this is the big win for TSM amongst all this. You can kind of tell before the game, CLG had one goal here. It was get double at farm, well, 2 goals, and stop Reggie from farming. They haven't stopped Reggie from farming whatsoever. TSM has made a good lane swap adjustment to the 2v1 mid, and Diana's just having a ball up top.
Well, we finally see the Odd One is going to go back. Wild Turtle continuing to keep the pressure on, actually keeping up CS with Doublelift, despite the fact that they had to counter-react to exactly what was going on. So the pressure in both lanes is happening quite well here. And then we see Chouster coming back in with that Nunu, almost doing a drive-by smite there straight away on towards the minions. And bottom lane, you know, Dyrus was incredibly low. He's actually managed to tank himself up a little bit, keeping himself healthy. But this bottom turret is taking low as well.
Yeah, we're going to see who breaks first here, and if CLG starts getting the first few towers, they're going to roll through the rest. I mean, when CLG's on point, their turret calling is very great. They have the pre-warded in the Tribe Rush, so Wild Turtle coming down isn't going to get to them. but it is going to delay the turrets going down. So, like, it's not those 4-minute turrets that we saw a couple weeks back when the 2v1 lanes all started happening in North America. This is a very tactical, everyone swap the lanes, try to hold your turrets as long as possible, because I really feel like the first turret to fall could just cascade into the rest of the front line falling.
It looks to me like CLG, they've all just backed. In fact, they're going top, are they? Or are they going to go mid? I would expect them to switch back in towards that mid, keep the pressure back up mid, because we see Wild Turtle back down this bottom. He's going to keep the pressure down. They realized they were about to lose that bottom turret, and they didn't want to do it. And yes, they are. CLG, you can see double lift and Alpha move heading back towards that mid lane.
And the really surprising thing about all this is no one's farm is actually that bad. Like, even Hotshot on Nasus or Dyrus on Shen, who've been following and chasing around the 1v2s, are sitting at 35 and 34 minion kills, right? Even Chouster's keeping his levels up. No one's actually transit. We're not going to see a fight, but as of the first 7.5 minutes, they haven't even been trying. It has really just been about trying to outmaneuver and get the first turret down. Nobody cares about fighting at this point.
Chouster seemingly realized he's fell behind a little bit, gets that Philo Stone to catch himself back in there. Wild Turtle with the BF sword, and looks like that bottom lane is going to take some pressure. I think Hotshot GG may take it because it was already low. There it is. First turret of the game does go down. It's Hotshot GG that took it. And did we just see a drive-by from Chouster there taking that blue buff?
Slight advantage CLG. No, he was warding the blue buff. They had the timer on it because they knew previously.
Will we see a laser?
But because they know the blue buff is getting taken, Doublelift is doing his best to push down the mid lane.
Oh, he didn't quite get it. Reginald managed to catch it just at the right time. Didn't quite finish it off, though. But now we see a dive in towards the middle lane. It's actually the odd one. He's been dived himself. He tried to go in, tried to go aggressive, but it's a little bit too early. And you see the ace in the hole coming out. That's going to force him back. Reginald bought time, though, to get back in towards that mid lane.
Yeah, and they're going to keep the pressure on this one because they really didn't care that much about the blue buff. Even though it looked like they were trying to steal it, that was the distraction. The main objective is to get this middle turret, and it looks like they did it.
They did indeed, and that is 2-0 in turrets. And CLG, despite having a lot of rotating going on, seems they have finally caught TSM on the hop and managed to take 2 of those turrets down. You can immediately see, looks like they're going to transcend in towards that top lane. Meanwhile, TSM look like they're going to try and take Dragon.
Yeah, they can tell that CLG got their objectives, and they're really just kind of leaving the Dragon to be taken. Hotshot had to fall back after over-pushing the bottom lane. Doublelift really maybe would have been able to support this, but they just didn't keep it as a protective thing on their radar, right? CLG cares about the turrets. TSM cares about the Dragon. It's a 1,000 gold edge, and that's because 750 that is from the extra turret. And I still think that the 2 turrets are way more important than that 1 Dragon for CLG.
So let's take a quick look through the items you can see as everyone goes back to buy. Wild Turtle did get that BF sword very early on. Now we see the BF sword popping in for Doublelift there. Has built up quite a CS advantage as well over Wild Turtle.
Yeah, it's been that Caitlyn pressure, and it's a matter of CLG really outmaneuvering a little bit. That teleport bottom lane from Hotshot is so timely. It's going to be tough for him to hold this turret, though, even though it's full health. The Wither on Wild Turtle, I have to say, is amazing for this base race action. Look at how well the Spirit Fire cleared those creeps, and look at how, even though it was 3 people, they only got half the turret on that push.
Yeah, very good stuff. It's the equivalent of a pretty large exhaust, I think, straight away on towards him. Meanwhile, we do see Reginald looking like he's going to try and set up on Link in the mid lane. No, just going to come in, try and clear out that wave, and the pressure continuing on this bottom lane. TSM realize they need to start knocking turrets down.
Yeah, and this is going to continue to be a wacky game. I don't see Hotshot holding this turret much longer. He's going to have to run away now, otherwise they're going to go for a kill.
Yeah, and you can see that straight away. The dash straight on towards Hotshot. He's going to get 3 talent poke. Will it get him in the end? No, he won't. The odd one didn't quite get the bounce. One more hit would have bounced him up there.
And on the other side of the map, CLG sacrificing that bottom turret. They want to get this top turret. There is Chouster coming up on Nunu. The shove is there, but TSM knows it's coming. Reginald walked up through the ward at the blue buff, and again, Chouster backs away. Like, this is one of the most tactical games I have seen these 2 teams play against each other.
Well, we saw the ping as well on towards. Oh, they're diving in the top lane, FCs. They're going on towards Doublelift, but that Howling Gale keeps them back. Will they follow into this one? No, they won't. The 90 caliber net from Doublelift kept him out of danger.
But look at this. CLG's not even caring about the fighting. They're going straight back to the mid lane. This time, though, they finally don't see the odd one coming in from the back. They are going to get jumped on. They're flanking around the side, though. Look at that.
But the odd one's got no one with him. He got no support. Well, he has got support because you can see X Specials there. It's about the only support he is going to get, though. No damage to follow it up. And he is going to keep him pressured. Dyrus thought about pushing that top lane. He's still 2v1, and he's actually doing a pretty good job. He's keeping up with Hotshot, despite the fact Hotshot's had a lot longer to free farm.
The big thing about this is just... I don't think Dyrus has had that much extra time to free farm over Hotshot. They've both been swapping around so much. I mean, it's CLG over-swapping them a little bit, and that's mainly given the advantage to Doublelift. Hotshot's actually spent a huge amount of time 1 and 3v2 2 and 3v1 in the lanes, but it's because of the Spirit Fire that Hotshot's been able to keep up.
Look at the big advantage that it has built up is CLG in terms of AD carries. 110 CS now to just shy of 19. That's a 23 CS difference already built up between them, and now Darius is in trouble. He's got to get out of this.
Yeah, and this is the 4 people top for CLG, but because Link got seen in the ward, TSM is trading in the mid turret. So once again, we're going to see a world record of turrets before player kills in this game, because this is going to be the 5th.
This is going to be the 5th turret going down, and that will be the 2nd for Team Solo Mid. They're going to continue in that middle lane. Meanwhile, CLG continue in the top lane. It's actually a bit of a transition. It may be a base race that comes out. I don't think either will commit to it fully. Wild Turtle, of course, wasn't with him. He was free farming down the bottom. But again, he's not really keeping up the farm because everything is being given to Doublelift right now.
Yeah, and I do think this is going to overall play in the advantage of CLG, right? Like, they are somewhat running a bunch of supports in Doublelift, right? Like, Nasus lane isn't necessarily, he can turn into a bit of a monster late game, but it's his Wither and it's his Spirit Fire. They're kind of good support abilities if they wanted to play like that. Lux has so many support abilities in mid lane as well. They're running a Nunu in the jungle. Like, the amount of steroids they can put on Doublelift is absolutely immense, but they need Doublelift to power up. And the way they're doing the lane swaps and the fact that they're 13 minutes in without even getting a fight off is hugely playing into their edge right now.
Absolutely. And we can see Hotshot looking to try and come in, try and get that Spirit Fire down, steal away the golem from Wild Turtle. Wasn't going to happen. Wild Turtle kept those axes spinning. So, looking like we're not going to get anything in certainly the first 15 minutes. No first kills. How do they stand? Because they're going to start moving into mid-game now. Lane phase is over, and the towers are all gone. And we're still not seeing any aggression. So who stands to win and lose out of this?
Right, so, I mean, let's just take it kind of one by one here. Hotshot versus Darius if they go into a split push war. He does have a teleport to match Darius' ultimate, and neither one of those guys can really threaten each other. I think Hotshot would actually duel Shen a little better than Shen will duel Nasus, so that would be even an edge for CLG. Jungle-wise, like the Odd One versus Chouster, I'd say the Odd One would have been able to put a little more like fighting pressure early, but we're not there. So now the utility of Nunu is actually really going to come in strong. You look at the mid lanes, Reginald's all about the diving, whereas Link's about kind of the poking out. And then how does TSM actually get onto Doublelift in a support the Doublelift composition? They're going to be diving Diana plus Xin Zhao plus Shen, but I don't know if they can dive through it because they got the resets coming from Janna and the peel coming from Nunu. Like, coming mid-game, when we actually do see the first team fights, if Doublelift can get to an Infinity Edge to go with the Blood Boil, I think CLG is going to be in a really good position unless they somehow get outmaneuvered. But just based on the first 14.5 minutes here, D-Man, it looks like they're the ones doing the outmaneuvering. Yeah,
and again, Wild Turtles just shoved that bottom lane, and Doublelift's like, thank you very much. I'm just going to pick up a heck of a lot more CS. You can see it's a 40 CS difference now. That's built up over 20 CS in just the last few minutes. Meanwhile, Hotshot GG is getting pressured by Darius, has to position himself around that cupcake. Well, it's maybe his birthday. It's not the cake he's after. And he does back away from this one. And look at it. It's just slowly but surely. There's the Infinity Edge now coming. And the Oracle's also coming out pretty early on from Aframu.
So this means CLG going to be going for a lot of map control. And look at Aframu, though. Double gold per 10 items. No Ruby Sightstone as of yet. So they're not playing a regular game right here. The only other time we haven't seen a Ruby Sightstone was actually last week in the LCS, where Edward didn't build one on Thresh in one of their stomp victories over Dragonborn. Now with the Dragon coming up, though, CLG has the Oracles. Hotshot has a teleport to come down with Darius. If TSM wants to stop this one, this would be the first fight of the game. CLG does have the big item they wanted with the Infinity Edge onto Doublelift, because he's really the only one who cares about his items right now. But we may not even see the Dragon. I think they're still content just pushing lanes.
Well, I think TSM want to try and shove the minions up mid, but against Lux, I don't think that's really possible. X-Special has picked up the Oracle. He's going to see the ward in the bush, and he's going to clear out the tiny little death bush, as I like to call it, and they are looking like they may well leash out the Dragon here. Of course, Darius can come stand united and join the fight anytime he so wishes. And CLG, for the first time, despite their mantra of never fight for Dragon, they may actually go for it.
And look at all the wards TSM has put around the Dragon area. That's 5 already they have vision into CLG's jungle, so CLG's approach would be very well documented. They've already split up, and because of that TSM started on the Dragon, they have an Oracles of their own on X-Special, so they have complete vision denial. CLG trying to push down mid lane, but I don't know how much they're going to be able to get out of this.
Yeah, they're keeping the pressure down. Yeah, it's going to be Link getting on there. They're going to get at least a couple of hits, but they've got to be careful that TSM don't completely collapse on them. We do see Darius coming in as well. They're actually heading north, and Darius is going to head them off. We're going to see a full flashed out Link. Had to use it to get away from that Shadow Dash.
That's like the first summoner spell other than teleport we've seen used this game. Like, this is how little these guys are actually fighting each other. Link managed to avoid that one, and now there is a 4v3 push by TSM in the mid lane, but the wave clear from CLG with the charged up Janna Tornadoes and Lux being able to just ultimate if all goes to hell and they can just push it through. There's not much TSM can do to counter push this one. CLG is like so comfortable holding this one, but Hotshot may be getting dove here. TSM finally trying to make a play.
He's got the ward though in the tri-bush and he sees it already. He sees Reginald coming down there and immediately CLG react to this one. They keep the pressure on the mid lane and the bot lane. Doublelift doing what he does and he is keeping the pressure on towards that. They may dive on towards Wild Turtle here.
Inner turret's so much more valuable than outer turrets. Wild Turtle still stuck back, but they're not even caring about the diving. They don't want to kill people. They want to kill turrets, and that's exactly what they're trying to do here.
And there's Link coming around the side there, poking it down, and Doublelift keeping the pressure on Wild Turtle, trying to keep those axes spinning. We do see the old one going in, but he's not going to do a great deal of damage. Meanwhile, the top lane, they do recall back. Reginald actually sticking around a little bit longer. He's going to take the columns away from Hotshot. Hotshot's going to come in, maybe Q it instead. He's going to get dived on. Reginald going aggressive on Hotshot. I don't think he's got enough to dive on towards the turret, though. Will he follow it through? No, he will not. And Hotshot just delays him that little bit longer. And then it's going to be Reggie finally picking up. He tried to get a steal. Actually, Reggie's gone aggressive on towards Hotshot. He's not going to be able to dive that turret.
Hotshot's taken so much harass, though. He still has his ultimate, and Reginald does have an ignite up. This could be like the first thing we might see, but here goes.
He's dived in, and that's straight away. Hotshot turns his ultimate. Ace in the hole comes out. Doublelift back there. He's taken solo. Will the Piltover Peacemaker come out? Yes, it will. And it's going to be first blood for Doublelift at 18 minutes into the game.
Finally, is about what I was going to say. Hotshot baited that one in just right. He knew he had backup, and Reginald was tired of being kited around. He wanted to fight someone, so he put himself in a bad situation. There was not a real reason to push him back there. He was denying Hotshot already. TSM did have a slight gold lead, but this is CLG control. We haven't seen control like this from CLG since like Season 1. When they just farmed out a game and just waited for the team fights and really waited for the other team to make mistakes. We'll see if TSM falls for this trap or if TSM can creatively move around the map enough to make good plays happen.
And all the plays they keep doing is Doublelift keeps extending that farm lead. You can see Wild Turtle, he's back off in the top lane. He's desperately trying to catch up. 6,200 to 7,000. He's got 1,000 on him already because he just got that first blood. 200 minions now, building up that lead over Wild Turtle.
Yeah, 200 minions at 19 minutes is quite a good score, and this is definitely throwing Wild Turtle and even TSM off their game. TSM wants to brawl. Hotshot wants to freeze minion waves. Like, that's actually what he's doing there. He's trying to make sure that he keeps farming safe. He wants to farm up his Q at this point. Hotshot's Q farm isn't that great right now. It's only plus 114, 20 minutes in, because he's mainly been clearing with Spirit Fire. But at this point in the game, you can tell CLG's in it for the long haul.
Link's coming to try and steal away this blue buff. He's going to throw out Luminescence. The laser comes across, and he gets it. Link steals it away from TSM, and that is very important for Lux.
Yeah, because now, especially with the cooldown reduction on his ultimate, that's just more wave clear. It's more stalling. It's more farm for Doublelift as he gets later and later. Doublelift's going for the 7-item Caitlyn this game, I'm pretty sure. It's the 6 items plus Nunu Blood Boil and the Janna shield. So maybe that's like an 8-item Caitlyn because it's almost a BS sword worth of damage that Janna can add to him. Going to continue the tower pushing, but it does look like CLG is just in pure farm mode.
They're in 3-man push on towards his top lane. Are they going to keep it on? No, they're not. They realize that TSM are coming across. They didn't have a great deal of vision, and they back away from that top lane in a turret. They're still sticking around the tri-bush, though. They may keep coming. And as you mentioned, the fact that Chowster is on Nunu, he can put that blue buff onto Doublelift. It just gives him a massive burst.
Yeah, the Blood Boil will be so huge. And Chowster's only got 2 points in it right now, right? He's all about Ice Blast for some reason. Here's Reginald going diving on Link.
Reginald diving on Link. He's going to keep the aggression on. He may well have been able to follow it up there. And if it wasn't for the light binding that kept him pinned down there, this just shows to me that Reggie's starting to get impatient.
And we saw his impatience in his last tower dive that he fell to. He does the Nashor's Tooth on Diana, which is the pre-nerf Nashor's Tooth, by the way, because once again, we are on 3.04, which is one patch behind the one that just hit live, right? So these guys still playing on that stuff. And look at Doublelift's items just starting to cruise around. The fact that he picked up a red elixir, though, actually tells me CLG might be looking to fight over the next dragon.
We'll see. It is going to be spawning in a minute's time. CLG, see if they're going to go in and ward it out as well. And as you mentioned, the fact that they have now got that Sightstone on there. Hasn't got Ruby Sightstone yet, but he will be able to put down a number of wards. I think back in towards this mid lane with that blue buff still, remember. Not much longer left on it, I don't feel, but Doublelift, he's going to clear that wave, shove it out. There's everything points towards the fact CLG want to fight.
They're trying to clear out all the waves between Dragon. Everyone's stop caring about the top lane right now, which is very rare for this game. This game's been all about split pressure and keeping every single lane shoved. So there's 42 seconds left. Aphromu's been sitting on that double gold per 10. There's a red buff sitting on Doublelift as well. They've already stolen the blue away from Reginald as well, so like a buff advantage as well as a potential vision advantage for CLG would be coming out here. But they got to keep in mind, actually, like it's 22 minutes in. The Baron is actually an objective they'd have to worry about as well, so they can't get ahead of themselves with this Dragon play.
So TSM are setting up for a potential to try and catch someone out here. Wild Turtle seeing if he can use himself as the bait, and it is going to go, and Chowster went in there, but Reginald had just stepped away. They're going to get the damage from Wild Turtle, but it's not going to be enough. And again, Link managed to keep them at bay and just be enough of a threat to keep them off. If Reginald had stayed in that bush like he was for a good portion of that fight before it happened, then he may be able to catch him. A hot shot, GG though, coming down. He's not going to see them. There's going to be 4 members. Can they dive on towards him? Will the audacious charge come out? No! Instead, he goes in on towards Link. Link gets taken down. Now they're straight away on towards Chowster. The odd one trying to keep on him. Gets an ice blast, keeps him at bay.
And this is the play that TSM's been wanting to make for a while. They pressured the Dragon with the Baron with the Oracles, and Doublelift has had to peel back up. But CLG has no vision over this area, and they could engage themselves in a 5v4. They got to be real careful about this Baron play. There goes Reggie again.
There goes Reggie, but the rest of the team had split off towards Hotshot GG, so he's kind of on his own. Dyrus had to use his Stand United to get in there. One more flash comes out. Aphromu does get away from it, saves himself that Oracle and voids the damage.
But TSM will keep the pressure on this Baron. They didn't take harass here. There are a lot of flashes of CLG though, so CLG's going to try to keep vision inside. They have to be careful about Reginald coming over, but all the steal potential is there if they want it, and Hotshot is going into harass.
Home guard boots as well, picked up by Link. He's running back to this fight. He's managed to respawn himself, so we see whether he gets back in. They are perfectly set up right now. I'm not sure if the TSM want to stick around with this one. They're going to dive on towards Chowster. Here comes the laser, but he misses. It's Doublelift that picks up the kill on Reginald, and now Howling Gale comes out. Can they separate Wild Turtle from the pack? They are a 4-man versus 5, and they do try and catch them. You can see the Ghost comes out from Hotshot. He wants to get on towards him. The Wither's going to be down there in a moment. There's the Wither. He cleanses it off. The Ace and the Hulk came through as well. Hig Special may be the target next, but they do keep them away from Baron.
And TSM spent such a long time trying to poke around that Baron, and it really just gave him like a 1-for-1. Now CLG's on the counterattack. Everyone from TSM is low, and the siege continues. This could be just another turret for CLG.
And there it goes. It's 4-3 in turrets now, a 2,000 gold advantage, and only 2-1 in kills at 24 minutes into this game. It's been pretty action-packed, but still there's just been no kills. It's very much a tactical game of power live chess.
Yeah, we're so used to seeing, like, anytime someone's making rotation into a lane, you're just like, there's going to be a fight. It's going to come here. These teams aren't that interested in that. Like, Reginald seems to be the only one interested in fighting, and that's the reason he's the only one on TSM that has died, right? The other people at TSM aren't diving in as far, and even though we just saw the battle around the Baron, they're tired of that. We might see a battle around the Dragon now. Last fight, Doublelift didn't even use his Red Elixir. Now he's got a Phantom Dancer and a Giant Spell, so he's even stronger after that kill onto Reginald's Diana. CLG would want to fight this one because TSM is all piled up in that Dragon Pit.
They're all piled up and they're going to go in there. You can see Reginald. Oh, he missed the Moonfall there. Tried to pull them in, didn't quite catch on towards him. Hig Special's been split off there, and now Reginald. There's the Dragon gone down. Wither continues to fight for this one. They realize the objective is no longer there, so it's purely kills they're looking for, and it's CLG being the aggressor once again. They're chasing on towards Team Solo mid. They put the Wither down on towards Wild Turtle, but they are going to be able to get away from this hill.
This is such a weird game. Like, the fact that they were grouped up there, CLG had pretty much all their ultimates except for Absolute Zero on Chowster, and just decided not to fight. TSM tanked up the Dragon. They definitely weren't all at full health, and CLG let them run away. They were afraid of a bad engage. They said, we know we have a slight lead. We know we're out tower killing you. We know we're going to have Doublelift with Nunu at the end of the game, and we know he's out farming Wild Turtle by a huge margin, not even counting the fact that Hotshot is going to be able to wither him late game, and CLG is going to take their fights elsewhere when they're good and ready.
Reginald's going to see if he can get the blue steel on there. Doesn't manage to catch it. I didn't see whether he did. He gets the Moonfall. It's a great pull in. It's going to be Aphromu that goes down. Chowster's going to get Absolute Zero full challenge. No, Odd One interrupts him, but Odd One goes down now. Reginald taking incredibly low. Can he get in there? Chowster's taken low. Hotshot GG taken low. He goes down. It's Wild Turtle that picks up that kill. Now Doublelift trying to turn it, but he gets focused on. Reginald not quite catching on. Catches him with the Crescent Dash. Shadow Dash full length. And that's going to be an ace for Team Solo mid. Now they're going to pick up Baron.
26 minutes into the game, TSM gets the initiation they wanted. I don't know why CLG was so aggressive after not wanting to fight a Dragon. Aphromu got caught without getting his Janna ultimate off. That's one of the big reasons they couldn't protect Doublelift through the rest of that fight, and that's a huge reason why TSM picks up the Baron.
Absolutely fantastic play. So, finally we have the action that we've all been craving. It's a 3,000 gold difference. There's still a tower behind Team Solo Mid, but with that Baron, you would suspect they might well be able to push some of those lanes. Still not touched any of the inner turrets right now. Meanwhile, the top lane, of course, of Team Solo Mid's base is being pressured. There was a lot of minions actually on that inhibitor turret for a short while there. The odd one just went in and did cleanup duty. So we'll see where the pressure goes.
Yeah, and it's going to be a matter of whether TSM can push through now, because the whole game they haven't been able to really shove any of the lanes. You can look at CLG's potential wave clear, Spirit Fire, Janna Tornadoes, Lux's Final Spark, her Lucent Singularity, like even Caitlyn's shove. It's not an easy task for TSM to shove this whatsoever. Hotshot will have his teleport if Darius decides to split push, and I feel like if TSM actually wants to make a play with this Baron, they're probably going to have to catch someone on CLG out of position or get a miraculous dive off of, but it is so difficult to dive onto this CLG lineup because they will be diving most likely without creeps.
Well, as it stands, we haven't seen Afromu go in the way of Patoya and Elements, but instead it's going to be Reginald diving in there on towards Hotshot GG. Shadow Dash comes in. They do manage to turn him down. The ultimate's running. Is it going to be enough to save him, keep him away from it? Yes, there will, but it doesn't matter. Team Solo Mid take down the inner turret. Odd one goes in, goes aggressive on towards Chowster. We do see the glitter lamps flashing past, and now CLG going to try and turn this one down itself. They do manage to get the slow on Wild Turtle, but they haven't got enough to back it up.
Getting the inner or the outer turret there on CLG's mid lane is a big move for them. Also getting Hotshot's Ghost and ultimate down. Hotshot might die here.
He's absolutely caught out. Wild Turtle's ultimate was flinging through. There's the final spark coming through. Can they go on towards Reginald? One more shot from Doublelift would have done it, but he had to back away. And Wild Turtle keeps the pressure down that they can't pursue.
And they still got plenty of time on this Baron buff. The death timer on Hotshot is long. Darius' split push will be working. CLG tried to snipe through. That's not something that's going to work. TSM's too coordinated to block that one. The siege continues, but how well can CLG hold this one? I feel like Reginald's too low to dive, and they're going to be taking this one slow with Darius split pushing that side lane.
Yeah, the slow but sure split push from Shen is going to happen, and it's Darius that's working it down. He's up to level 17 right now, the highest level in the game, I believe. By, looks like 2 levels as well, 2 levels ahead of everyone, Darius, right now. So that split push Shen is going to be actually a pretty scary thing right now.
They definitely first picked that for a reason. It's out split pushing what CLG is able to throw at them. And they're making real good use of this Baron buff that is TSM. Wild Turtle, even though he was getting out farmed by Doublelift, he's only 600 gold behind. And in an absolute brawl, if they've managed to kill CLG supports, Turtle's still a huge, huge threat to them. Linkald actually missed a little bit. I wonder if CLG's going to try to go on this because they know Reginald's in mid.
Yeah, they thought about keeping pressure down, but Reginald is, like he's mentioned, in that mid, and he's keeping the pressure on, pushing forward. TSM continuing on towards the top turret. CLG a little bit caught unawares. They're not too sure which objective to try and defend. It looks like they're going to give up on this top turret, and that is going to be another turret down. And TSM now 6-4 in turrets. That Baron buff working. Great advantages, stretching their lead to 5,000 gold. And Darius also keeping the pressure on. We're going to see Reggie going in on towards Hotshot. Pulls the move full. Darius is going to get the Shadow Dash instead. No, they back out. Darius was already tanking the turret up, purposely done it there to just give Reggie the cover. And they're keeping on towards the turret. They're pressuring on the top turret now. CLG reacting to this. They're coming back down, but it's buying time in the top.
Yeah, there's not enough threat on CLG right now. Doublelift is trying to fight off one side, and they don't seem to have enough on the other as Reggie dives in.
Reggie goes in. He goes aggressive on Link. Link has to use the Zhonya's Hourglass. Remember, Reginald out of mana now, and they're going to keep the pressure on. Darius taken incredibly low by the turret now, but they switch it up there. No mana for Reginald. Surely not going to well this fight. They do pick up the kill. Absolute Zero coming out. Ace in the hole on Darius. Darius is going to go down. Can they get on towards Reginald? They're losing the top turret as well. The top inhibitor turret will go down, but they are keeping the pressure on.
Yet CLG cannot deal with this. They lost their inner turret. Doublelift now out of the base, has healed, but he's still not got the damage to push them all off here. TSM on the aggressive.
They're still keeping the pressure on. The odd one has gone in there. Pops the ultimate. Chowster's going to get caught out. One more spinning blade. It's Wild Turtle throwing out his ultimate. But Doublelift, he's hammering away still. Can he do enough to keep them at bay? Has to back away quickly, and it's going to be the inhibitor going down as well as the bottom inhibitor. 2 inhibitors picked up quickly, and that was probably the best use of a Baron I've seen in a long time from Team Solo Mid. Doublelift is going to get Reginald in the bottom lane. He takes him down, but it's more of a case of just pick up any objective you can.
Yeah, noble sacrifice from Reginald there, giving up his life for the second inhibitor, because now they know they have CLG cornered. Their backs are against the wall. Finally, Doublelift has picked up his big third item, and I'm almost a little confused at this overall CLG strategy, the way it's played out, right? They've been talking so much in between these weeks about how having fewer amounts of threats makes it so they can't make mistakes during a game. They make one mistake and the game's seemingly over. And if they're only running Doublelift as the only threat on the team, they just give themselves even less room for error. And they made one mistake getting caught at blue buff. It turned into the Baron, and it lost them the 2 inhibitors.
And more to the point, if they know they're up against the Shen, they know they're going to get a split push. If you've just got 1 point of danger, how do you deal with that split push?
It's a great question, right? Like, they were doing it a great job the entire game until they messed up right in that spot, because Hotshot could deal with Dyrus for the majority of the game. Link could keep the wave shoved out, and Doublelift could basically brawl everyone because he was so far ahead in damage. But then, once they fell behind to a point where Hotshot couldn't deal with Dyrus, they lost control of Reginald because their lanes weren't getting shoved out. And when Doublelift built that Giant's Belt, he really lost the hyper damage threat that Wild Turtle has picked up himself. Like, look at the damage differential between Wild Turtle's build and Doublelift's build. And even though Wild Turtle has 60 less, 80 less minion kills, you think of if it was actually a 1v1, despite Doublelift having 5 kills, like, Wild Turtle actually got a pretty good chance there. Right, so maybe Doublelift could have gotten a defensive item like late in his build, but right now it's trouble, and Hotshot just has to run away.
He's going to try and run away, but I think he's going to get caught out again. Reginald diving on towards this one. Dyrus is slowly but surely collapsing in towards him. I think he's going to get away just in time. And Dyrus, you've got to give credit to his build as well. He knew he was only ever going to be up against Hotshot GG. He could see what Hotshot was building, realized, if I just get a bit of damage, there's absolutely nothing you can do against me.
And it's one of those things, Doublelift can't kill everyone in these situations. Link still doesn't have a Rabadon's death cap. He actually went a somewhat defensive Lux build, and TSM is running rampant inside their base here. I love the flank by Reginald coming around the side, making it so this defense is dangerous for CLG.
They go in, they go in, they go in. Can they catch on towards him? It's the odd one they choose, and they put the Wither down on him, they put the Snowball on him, and they are turning it around. Reginald claps in from the side. He goes in towards Chaucer, tries to bait some of the damage. Remember, he has that Zhonya's Hourglass, so he's trying to see if he can just pull any aggression in his Doublelift. They're trying to focus. Of course, if he goes down, he's the only member of CLG that's got kills so far, and there is a massive damage difference if he was to drop, and they realize it. Dyrus goes in, they're tanking out this turret, they're going to keep the pressure on.
They're just going to try to hold this one out. You can see the turret falling a bit. The big issue here, though, is there's 2 waves of super minions pushing the sides. CLG is completely cornered by the minions. They pretty much have to fight now or risk losing all 3 inhibitors or their Nexus turrets.
And Hotshot GG's going to have to use that ultimate. There's the final spark coming through, but it was only X-Special they caught on. That turret's going down. Wild Turtle takes it down, and now they go aggressive. Hotshot has to use his ultimate. Reginald goes in, pops the Zhonya's Hourglass. Absolute zero coming out from Chaucer was enough. Doublelift takes down Reginald, but Wild Turtle drops Hotshot GG, and now it's TSM running.
Yeah, but CLG's base is getting destroyed. There's no way they can continue this assault. Link trying to hold off the Nexus turrets. They both fell to the super minions, and now TSM just can take whatever they want.
And they are slowly coming in. That's the 3rd inhibitor going down. Doublelift does get poked by that axe, but they have to deal with all these super minions. They're pinging it, and now they realize it. TSM have just pinged it. They realize the damage is coming down there. Doublelift, one more hit. Doublelift goes down, and Team Solo Mid are going to take the game against Counter Logic Gaming. It's 12-6. It took a long time to come, but the